Okay, now the len function is quite a simple one. All it does is calculates the length of a string. Now that string could be text, anything. Okay, well, strings are generally text. Okay, but it just basically calculates. It just counts how many words there are, whatever. It's really straightforward. Generally, it's actually used well when you go to the next exercise. The left and the right function. So generally, I think it's generally embedded in other functions, mostly from what I can see. Okay, so all you do is just go equals, pressing the wrong key, type in len, open your brackets. So it says use the function to calculate the length of Berlin, highlight Berlin, close, press enter, and you can see that Berlin is 6 letters. And it does this with other functions as well. So I mean other types of values as well. So use the function to calculate. So I'll change that now before I save it. There we go. Calculate the length of the integer number. Again, equals len. So an integer obviously is a whole number. Here we are. See, it's 3 letters, and it will do the same for this one here. It won't calculate the comma, this is where len is actually quite useful and quite clever. Okay, and I think it's also where you can see there's now an improvement on Excel as well compared to what it used to be. So here we are. So obviously this should probably return, if you was to count the comma, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it should return 4. There we go, it returns 4. So you're probably thinking, what is the point of this function? Well, like all functions, so say for example we was in a real life spreadsheet and we was going to change the word Berlin, okay, to another city such as Paris. You can see that will automatically change. Well, we know this, and you would have already guessed it. Okay, so I tried to find some real life examples, which I have done here. Okay, so this is a project. Now, these are the big donors. So now, basically, what we're going to do is a children's charity wants to see who the big donors are. Using a len function, find out how many figures each donor has made. So, like you could say, for example, thank you, Mr. Bendrew, for your 3-figure salary, 3-figure donation. Okay, so obviously you calculate numbers by how big the figures are. Right, so if we was to use len here, this should come back obviously as a 4-figure donation. There we go, 4-figure donation. Okay, so, and it'd be the same with the rest of them as well. So Mr. Bendrew has donated 3 figures. This will come back as 3 figures. Okay, so you can see that it's not counting the decimal places here. So, it's working out. So you can use len with currency. You don't have to change, because you'd think, well, it's a text function. Generally, you would actually change the formatting of your cell to text. But this cell, as you can see, is formatted to currency accounting, and it's still calculating the right number of figures. Okay, so that's the len function. Next video will be another text function, and I believe I'm going to use left.